So I'm looking at a Grand Vitara today. You can't see anything there, can you? The glare on it. The KPA is the one that struck me as being faulty. I've got no fault codes for that, but it doesn't look right. And I've done a couple of tests by using the scanner dana method. I've just gone in there using a test light to bring the voltage up and down, the signal up and down. And you can see a change on here, but it starts off at 4.7 volts. If I give it pressure, I mean this is obviously not running now, if I give it pressure, that doesn't change. I'm using this to give it pressure. Also if I give it vacuum, it doesn't change. The only fault code I've got is for the turbo actuator, which is down here, control solenoid. Vacuum control solenoid that goes to here, so I can do test on that as well. That's a pending fault code now. I've tried to clear it, it's gone to pending. And I have a fault code that didn't give me a description. So the only thing, it was a live data. I didn't like the look of that because we're 1 bar of pressure roughly, not 255 kPa. So that was the thing that made me think there's something wrong. So I'm going to do a conversion and work out kPa to bar, and then I'll just tell you what that is. That equates to 2.55 bar. With the engine off, that's way too high. I think the ignition's gone off. No, it's not, it's just the back pin fell out. 4.7. So it's maxed out in pressure. If I give this pressure, that won't change. But I can change the voltage with a test light, doing it the scanner dana way. So we know the wiring's okay. I'm actually going to unplug it and see what we get. 0. I unplugged it and it went right down to 0. So this gives it, it looks awfully wet in there. What's going on? Anyway, this will take the 0 and give it some voltage from the 5 volt supply. Depending what the pressure is how much voltage it's going to give it. And that equates to a pressure. And in this case, it's giving it basically all its voltage is just going right through into the signal. It's what you can call a pull-up design. What scanner dana calls pull-up. But that's what it's doing. The sensor's giving it a voltage. And in this case, it's not telling the truth. So disconnected the wire, disconnected this, we know that the wire's okay, it's this that's shorted. So there's the problem, a faulty sensor, that's our starting place. I'm going to have a quick look at that and make sure it works as well, since it's flagging up a fault code for pending for that. I might even put a sensor simulator on here and see if it likes it when we set it to the right pressure. Here's my old Halford sensor simulator. Plugged it into the same wire, the power. We're also going to the battery. So I'm going to give this enough voltage so I've got it set on volts. So I'm going to give it the volts that's going to make this read the correct pressure, if possible. Let's see. I'm going to carefully adjust this. There was a bit of a delay. Now that I'm standing here, you can see it a bit better. Got to bring the voltage up gradually. 100 kPa is roughly 1 bar. Well, no, it is 1 bar. What I meant was if I get it roughly to 100, we know what the voltage should be. We're looking at 1.2 volts. See that there? 1.2 volts is what this should be seeing. This might let me clear the fault codes now. Let's clear them. Where's the clear the fault code? I think I've got to go into that. If I can clear the fault codes, I could put the sensor in. Well, we've proved it. We've proved that there's a fault. Yeah, that one. Boost sensor now, A circuit pending, so we'll clear that. Where do I clear it? Sorry, I just got this tool, so I need to get used to it. I've gone and pressed a button without reading it. Here it is. Let's see what happens now. It's thinking about clearing it. It might just go to pending, something like that, if it wasn't pending already. It's taking its time. The battery's a bit low in the car. 11.7 volts. but I'm sure I found what's wrong with it. I could test this whilst I'm here, like I say. That solenoid, I want to check that, make sure it works. If we have no fault codes, first time we've managed to delete all the fault codes. I don't think I'm even going to test that based on what I've seen then. I think once it sees that, it knows it's happy. There. That's the first time with this sensor simulator that I've been able to do that. So if I switch that off, I've turned off the sensor simulator, and we're back to 0 volts. So let's come out of here once more, read the fault codes now. This is what it would be without the sensor simulator. So we've figured out which wire we need on there, and we've also figured out what voltage we should have by using a few tools. Now this one's back. Boost sensor A circuit, so that's what we're at. That is matches the thing, and it won't let us clear it, so there we go. That's the diagnosis done. This is unrelated, but I'm doing a quick check on here. I found out which pin for the mass airflow is the signal, the bottom one, 0.3, and what I've done by just blowing down there, I can see a change. Don't know if that's in focus. It's enough of a change. I don't know if you've seen that though. I'll try that again. Right, let me hold my arm steady there. So it's 0.3, I'll try it again. It's enough that you can see a change, and it's just it's not very scientific, but a quick way of testing the mass airflow, which I was asked if I could just check it whilst I'm here so they can get everything. Like I say, there was no fault code for that. So it's just looking at live data, it's pointed me to something that wasn't showing a fault code. So this could also have been faulty, but we're going to rule it out for now since we know we've got a definite fault here. And I think we're safe to leave it at that for now, and just get one of these parts ordered up. Maybe a genuine one might be worth getting, but that's definitely what's wrong with it. Anyway, whether there's any additional faults, it also has a starter motor fault, so I can't actually start it unless we roll it down the hill. But yeah, I found the fault. That car was quite a basic test in the end. I did check the boost pipes, because when I finished I was told that somebody had looked at it and said it will be a boost pipe. That's why it's got no power, boost pipes come off. So I put the smoke test on just to rule that out. Going back to that thing that I've heard a few people saying, what if you put a part on it and it doesn't fix it, what's the next thing you check? I just thought I'll do it. I'd already found the fault with the boost pressure sensor. At that sort of pressure, that's getting on for 2.5 bar, which means it's not going to give it any boost because it thinks it's already over boosting. So, and get a sensor that actually works. There's no position sensor actually on the turbo actuator. It's just must be getting its feedback from the boost pressure. The other thing was, the customer was asking why did the grams per second, when I was showing him on the mass airflow, that had something like 1.3 grams per second, and I said for whatever reason I find some of those sensors do that. They don't go to absolute zero with ignition on. So I just thought I would show him and blew down the pipe just with my mouth up to the mass airflow sensor, and we could see a response. So I'm happy to leave that for now and just work with the thing we definitely know is faulty. So that was a fun one today. Hopefully I get more diagnostics, because I don't get that many at the moment. But there's one thing, the fault code didn't really point me in that direction. It was more looking at the live data and using the fault code that it's got and putting it all together and making more sense of it. So it's definitely one that if you were to go and get the boost actuator, the boost, what what is it? The turbo actuator control solenoid. So it's vacuum operated. We're talking about the solenoid that controls it. If we were to get one of those, like somebody might have done after doing a code read, it wouldn't have fixed it. It wouldn't have helped it at all. So sometimes you have to take the live data and think for yourself what's actually wrong with it. And that was one of those cases. Anyway, hopefully it's been interesting to somebody, and thanks for watching.